again, good morning everybody. This is teacher Joker again, and for today class our subject is science. So our topic for today is about our previous lesson wherein we're going to do an activity, and this is on page 15 on your workbook. So this is about the master practice. So kindly open your workbook on page 15, I should say, and then 16. So ready? Okay, so I hope everybody's ready. So I can now start our activity for today. Okay, so let's start now your activity number 1. So the question here says, which of the following statements is true about the adaptations of conifers to their habitat? So letter A, their proper roots help them to grow on snow. Letter B, their cone-shaped trees help to prevent snow from accumulating on them. Letter C, they have petioles on their leaves to prevent water loss. Letter D, they store water in their fleshy stems. Okay, so in the question we have there a word which says conifers. So this is what we call conifer. Okay, this is what we call conifer. Okay, so the answer here is their cone-shaped trees help to prevent snow from accumulating on them. So please circle letter B. Okay, so number 2, the diagram below shows a walking stick. The walking stick here is not a stick, actually it's just a term for an insect. Okay, it's a kind of insect. So how does a walking stick protect itself by camouflage? When you say camouflage, the process of changing their color or its color to blend with the surroundings. So for example, we have here the walking stick. Okay, as you can see, its color is brown. Okay, do you know why? Why is it brown? It's brown because the color of this branch over here, or the branches of trees around, are color brown. That's why this insect needs to change its color into brown. Changing its color can protect itself from its enemies. Okay? So that is what we call camouflage, the process of changing its color to blend with the color of its environment. So in letter A, it blends well with other insects. No, it blends well with plants. Letter C, it changes its color to match its surroundings. Letter D, it changes its texture to match its surroundings. Okay, so which one? As what I've said, camouflage is the process of changing its color to match to their own environment or to their surroundings. So the answer here is letter C, because the walking stick changes its color to blend with its surrounding or to match to its surroundings or environment. Okay? And number 3, which of the following statements is not true about the adaptation of camels to deserts? Okay, so we have here the adaptations of camels. So let's check. Letter A, they have large and flat feet to walk on the sand easily. Letter B, their legs are long to keep their body away from hot sand. Letter C, their bones are hollow and contain air spaces to make their body light. Letter D, they store fat as food in their hams to survive for a long period when food and water are scarce. Okay, so let's check. The question says, which of the following statements is not true? Okay, not true meaning false. So they have large and flat feet. Let's check. Okay, that's correct. Letter B, their legs are long. Okay, they have long legs. Letter C, their bones are hollow and contain air spaces to make their body light. Do we have that? No, it doesn't have that. Letter D, they store fat as food in their humps. Okay, we have it there. Okay, therefore, the false statement here is letter C. So the answer is letter C. And number 4, which of the following is a herbivore? Which of the following is a herbivore? Herbivore means an animals that eat plants, right? Okay, so let's check in the choices. Letter A is rabbit, letter B lion, letter C chicken, D algae. Okay, so letter A, what do you think? Is this a herbivore, carnivores, or omnivore? What does rabbit eat? It eats plants, right? How about lion? Lion eats other animals. Chicken? Chicken can eat both plants and other animals. And algae? It doesn't eat plants or other animals because it needs the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so therefore the answer here is letter A, because only rabbit can eat plants only among these choices. Okay, number 5, what is a producer? What is a producer? Letter A, a producer feeds on plants and other animals. Letter B, producer is an animal that eats other animals only. Is it correct? Letter C, a producer is an animal that eats plants only. Letter D, a producer makes its own food. Okay, what do you think is the answer here? Do you remember the food chain? So in the food chain, producers are plants. They are not animals. Okay? Producers are plants, consumers are animals. So, what do you think is the correct answer? What is a producer? Producer makes its own food because plants makes their own food. Okay? So the answer here is letter D. This is the correct statement about producer. Producer makes its own food. Okay? Because plants make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Number 6. Which shows the correct food chain in a pond? Which shows the correct food chain in a pond? So let's check which is the correct food chain over here. So first is letter A, water weed, big fish, small fish, and then prawn. Okay, so big fish eats the water weed. They can, but small fish cannot eat the big fish. Therefore, that's wrong. Letter B, water weed, prawn, small fish, and big fish. Is it correct? Or can it be? So water weed, and then here comes the prawn. They eat the water weed, and then small fish eats the prawn. And then we have here the big fish, wherein they eat the small fish. Okay, that's the correct one. Because in letter C, tadpole cannot be the producer. In letter D, snail cannot eat the fish. So the correct answer here is letter B. Water weed, and then prawn, and then small fish, and then big fish. The prawn eats the water weed, the small fish eats the prawn, and the big fish eats the small fish. Okay, let's proceed to number 7. Which of the following is not part of the non-living components that interact with organisms? Which of the following is not part of the non-living components that interacts with organisms? So letter A, water, B, sunlight, C, bacteria, and D, soil. Which of the following is not part of the non-living components? Non-living, not living things. Okay, so which is not part of the non-living thing components or non-living things? Water is, yes, that's non-living thing. Sunlight, that's non-living thing. Bacteria is a living thing. Okay, and soil is non-living thing. Water doesn't have life, sunlight doesn't have life, bacteria have life, and letter D doesn't have life also. Therefore, the answer is letter C, because letter C is a living thing, while water, sunlight, and soil, they are non-living things or non-living components. Okay, let's proceed to number 8. Which does not show the interdependence among the living things and the non-living components? Plants use sunlight to make their own food. Dead plants and animals are decomposed by bacteria. Wind helps to disperse seeds of some plants. Soil provides nutrients for plants to grow. Okay, the answer here is letter A. Plants use sunlight to make their own food. If you remember the process of photosynthesis, wherein the plants take or absorb the energy of the sun to make its own food, that is the interdependence among the living things and non-living things. Plant is a living thing, sunlight is a non-living thing. Okay, so they use together, they need each other I should say, they need each other to survive or to make their own food. So the answer in number 8 is letter A. And number 9, the diagram below shows a food web. Okay, so when we say food web, it contains 2 or more food chain. So how many food chains are there? How many food chains are there? Okay, let's count. First, we have the producer, which is rice plant. Okay, so from rice plant was eaten by rat, and then the rat was eaten by the owl. Okay, so that's 1. And then again, rice plant was eaten by the caterpillar, and then the caterpillar was eaten by the frog. Okay, that's 1. Another is the rice plant was eaten by the caterpillar, and the caterpillar was eaten by the rat, and the rat was eaten by the snake, and the snake was eaten by the owl. On this one. Okay, so another. The rice plant was eaten by the caterpillar was eaten by the frog, and the frog was eaten by the snake. So that's another. And then another one, rice plant eaten by the caterpillar, and the frog eats the caterpillar, and then the frog eats the snake eats the frog, I should say, and then the owl eats the snake. Therefore, that's 1 also. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. The answer there is 5. We have 5 food chains. Okay, number 10. The diagram below shows a food chain in a paddy field. Which of the following take place if all the snakes were caught by the farmer? Which of the following takes place if all the snakes were caught by the farmer? So number 1, the number of rats increases. Number 2, the population of rice plants increases. Yes, that can be. The population of rice plants decreases. No. Okay, therefore, the answer is 1 and 2. Letter A. The question says, if the farmer kills the snake, what will happen to the rat and the rice? Of course, the number of rats increases. There will be more rats, and the rice plants will grow more. Okay, so we have 1 and 2, and that is letter A. And now it's your turn to answer your workbook on page 15 and 16. So kindly choose the letter of your answer and then encircle your answer. Okay, so I gave you the guide already on how to answer the activity. So you can now proceed in answering your activities on your workbook. Okay? So that's all for today, class, and see you again next meeting.